A high-profile murder trial of a former Texas Tech student continues this week as the defense now argues to save his life. Coming up, we'll have an update on the trial of Hollis Daniels.
Many students may not yet be thinking about the end of the school year, but for those walking the stage in May, the clock is continuing to count down towards their future. Find out how several university groups are helping Red Raiders take their next steps towards a career.
And the countdown to opening day on the Diamond is under 24 hours, with the Texas Tech baseball team gearing up for another big season. We'll have the details on who's up first for the team and when you can catch the Red Raiders in action.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Will Lanigan.
And I'm Jaxon Stallings. The murder trial of a former Texas Tech student is nearing the end of a second week of testimony, with jurors debating the possibility of the death penalty.
As we reported last week, Hollis Daniels III is currently on trial for the 2017 shooting death of TTU police officer Floyd East Jr. inside the TTU Police Department headquarters. The sentencing phase began last Monday after Daniels pled guilty before the trial. On Monday afternoon, the state rested its case after a week of testimony from various witnesses and experts. The state focused on the timeline of events that led to Officer East's death, including the theft of the gun used in the incident from a friend on the night before the murder, and a welfare check in Daniels' dorm that led to his arrest. The state finished out their portion of the trial with testimony from Officer East's widow, Carmen East. The defense took over on Monday afternoon, and since then a dozen people who have known Daniels personally have testified on his behalf. The majority of this week's testimony has focused on the mindset of Daniels leading up to the night of the murder of Officer East. Family, friends, former teachers, and even mental health professionals have spoken about apparent depression and suicidal thoughts voiced by Daniels that appeared to worsen near the time of the shooting. Daniels' own mother contacted Texas Tech administrators the day of the murder to report the theft of the gun and her concerns that he may kill himself. The defense is hoping to create enough question regarding Daniels' mental state to remove the possibility of the death penalty. Week 2 of the Hollis Daniels trial will conclude tomorrow, and testimony is expected to resume next week. MCTV will continue to follow the case and bring you more details next week.
In other news, one of the university's newest resources for students invited the tech community to stop by and help them celebrate an important milestone. Yesterday afternoon, the Undergraduate STEM Center marked their first year in existence with a birthday party in Doak Hall, Room 100. The U STEM Center is open to all undergrads and features computers, printers, whiteboards, and charging stations for mobile devices. The center is part of Tech's STEM Center for Outreach, Research, and Education, which works to grow the impact of science, technology, engineering, and math here on the Tech campus and beyond.
We're celebrating our first birthday. We started the program a year ago and finally are ready to, we had kind of a soft open, so now we're ready to announce our opening to the entire campus.
The U STEM Center is located in the Scarlet Diversity Lounge and is open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. For more information on the U STEM Center and other ways the university is working to increase STEM education, visit stem.ttu.edu.
It may feel like the spring semester just started, but for some students, the end of their college career is less than 3 months away. But before those students walk the stage, a couple of university groups offered options to help some Red Raiders make plans for their future. The Whitaker College of Engineering hosted the spring edition of the Engineering Job Fair yesterday at the Lubbock Memorial Civic Center. Starting at 10 a.m., students headed downtown to meet up with representatives from more than 100 companies and groups from around the country. Attendees could drop off resumes with hopes of securing a full-time position, or they could discuss opportunities for future internships or a co-op in the engineering field. First-year students were also invited to the event to have a chance to learn about the many options available to them after graduation. The Whitaker College of Engineering hosts job fairs every year in the fall and the spring. If you missed yesterday's event, the next job fair is scheduled for September 20th.
The College of Engineering wasn't the only university group helping students make decisions about their future this week. Tech's Pre-Professional Health Careers Department also set up a special event to give Red Raiders a chance to learn about next steps in their academic journey. Yesterday afternoon, the Sub-Ballroom welcomed in hundreds of students for the 12th Annual Health Professions School Fair. The yearly event gives students interested in health careers the chance to meet with recruiters from dozens of healthcare programs. Programs such as medical, dental, veterinary, pharmacy, and more were all featured during yesterday's fair. Attendees could pick up flyers, business cards, and swag while learning about options for their next step towards a future career. The Pre-Professional Health Careers Program hosts the Health Professions School Fair every year in February, but you can learn more about healthcare education options anytime by visiting APPHC Advisor. For more information and to schedule an advising appointment, visit pphc.ttu.edu. After nearly getting blown away the last 2 days, students faced another weather hazard this morning heading to class. Sub-freezing temperatures this morning's low was 18 degrees here in the city at sunrise, with the wind chill making it feel like we were in single digits.
And even though this morning was colder than most students prefer, the coldest night of the week is yet to come. Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The MCTV Tower Cam is currently showing bright, sunny skies with much less dust in the air than the last 2 afternoons. But even with the return of the sun, temperatures are still noticeably cooler today, with highs only topping out in the low 40s late this afternoon. The latest cold front has brought chilly conditions to most of the western United States, including the southern portions of Texas, and the current cool-off will drop to its lowest point later tonight. Shortly after sunset, temperatures will drop back below the freezing mark and skies will remain clear. The lack of clouds will lead to even colder temps, with lows dropping into the teens before sunrise. The wind chill will continue to be a factor, but it shouldn't feel quite as cold as it did this morning. After tonight's deep freeze, temperatures will rebound tomorrow back into the low 50s. The sun will stick around and winds should be light throughout the day. The warming trend will continue through the weekend, with temperatures jumping from the 50s on Saturday to the low 70s on Sunday. We'll see a lot more clouds on Saturday and Sunday, and breezy winds will also return by Saturday afternoon. But hopefully we won't see a repeat of the zero visibility dust storms over the weekend. Looking ahead, the escape from this week's windy conditions looks to be short-lived, with another chance of 50-mile-an-hour gusts and another dust storm early next week.
The Texas Tech Lady Raider basketball team was back on the court last night with hopes of securing a conference win against a ranked team on the road. Unfortunately, the Oklahoma Sooners have been on a hot streak with no end in sight. The Sooners started off last night's contest in Norman with 4 three-pointers in 10 minutes. The momentum of the Sooners put the Lady Raiders into a 13-point deficit by the end of the first quarter. The Lady Raiders were able to keep up with the Sooners after that, but the opening scoring burst by OU left Tech in the dust, with Tech never able to catch up. The Lady Raiders lost 57-84 against the 15th-ranked team in the nation. Freshman Bailey Maupin led the Lady Raiders in scoring with 15 points, followed by seniors Breamber Scott and Bryn Gerlich, who also ended in double digits. Maupin finished out her 5th straight game in double figures, and Scott stretched her streak of games with 10-plus points to 10 out of the last 11 contests. The Lady Raiders' next conference matchup will be back here at home on Saturday against Oklahoma State. Tip-off is set for 2 p.m. with TV coverage on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. The men will also be back in action on Saturday, hoping to continue their current 2-game winning streak as they take on West Virginia in Morgantown. The Red Raiders and Mountaineers will face off at 11 a.m. Central Time on ESPNU.
The 2022-23 basketball regular season is nearing an end, but Texas Tech fans still have plenty to look forward to as 2 other teams take the field this weekend, with one of them making their 2023 debut. The Red Raiders softball team is currently in action on the road in El Paso. Tech is taking on Buffalo in their first game at the Dr. Diana Natalicio Memorial Tournament. The softball team opened up their season last weekend in the Metroplex, going 3-2 against Tulsa and UT Arlington. The Red Raiders will continue with a pair of games tomorrow against Santa Clara and UTEP in the afternoon, followed by another 2 games on Saturday against New Mexico at 2 p.m. and finishing out under the lights in a rematch against the Miners. Tech softball will end their weekend with another matchup with Santa Clara at 10 a.m. on Sunday. You can catch all the games live by searching for UTEP Athletics on YouTube or clicking the Watch link at texastech.com.
And if you're looking for some in-person action on the diamond, Texas Tech Baseball has you covered with opening weekend here in the Hub City. Fans will get their first look at the 2023 Red Raiders as they take the field against Gonzaga in a 4-game series. The Red Raiders are ranked in the top 25 in all of the major preseason polls, with their highest ranking coming in at number 17. Tech hopes to make it back to the College World Series after failing to make the NCAA Super Regionals last year for the first time since 2017. This year's season starts off tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Dan Law Field at Rip Griffin Park and continues with 1 p.m. first pitches on Saturday and Sunday. Monday's closer is set for 11 a.m. If you can't make it out to the park, you can watch all the action on ESPN+.
So Jackson, are you planning to head out to Dan Law Field and watch some of the baseball action this weekend?
Well, I hope I can make it. I've sure been missing since last year.
Yeah, I have too, and I think we're going to have a good year this year. I'll be at all four, Lord willing. Anyway, that's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to check out ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.